Hi guys, let me see if I can, oh, that's as far as we're gonna go. Okay, it's the weekend, and I've been wanting to play a little bit with this. If you guys recall for the Ephemera swap, the first one I did, I showed you guys how to make some covers for your folders, two different ones, and the other day I was making a cake, and just having this in my hand, I was like, hey, this feels like about the size of a folder that holds 5x7 things. So I held on to it. Now, if I have any links in the description box, it won't be for this, but those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. And that's, you know, for maybe some of the basic items I'm using. Having said that, I don't have those kind of links. So like with Michael's, I bought these book rings years ago at Office Depot. This is a really old Martha Stewart punch. Of course, I have my folders from the latecomers that came in to the swap, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And I just have paper that I think I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is cover this. Now I'm not going to cover it in a way that you would think, because if you're looking at it, you can say, oh, just cut this piece off and then cover it, and you have pretty much what you need, right? But no, I mean, I do want to mess with this a little bit, because the sizing, I need it to be like 5 1/4 flaps, and this is like 5 5/8. The back is almost 1 1/2, and that's about right. That's not bad. So I'm just going with what the box is. I'm not going to cut this down, but it's about almost 1 1/2 inches. And of course the back is going to be the same. And then the height, you know, minus this flap here, and then we're cut off the bottom, is 7, oh wow. Yeah, 7 1/4. Oh my gosh, that's like perfect. So what I'm going to do is pop this open, and we're gonna manipulate this a little bit. But like I said, there's different ways to do this. This is just how I'm going to do this. And I could rip this open, and the reason, well, okay, I'm going to be careful with it, because I think in the binding I want to double up the spine, so this part. But I am going to completely cut this up, so let me clear some of this stuff out of the way. And I didn't even think about this far. Yeah, the kids are here, they're kind of playing, Miranda's over here. I think I am going to cut on my cutting mat, even though I don't want to do that, but oh well. I'm going to use this here, and so I'm going to cut the very edges of this off. And you can do this with scissors. I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife if I can find it. That's weird. I just used it the other day. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, come on. It's going to pop up in front of my face, I'm sure, as soon as I pause to look for it. Alright, oh, yeah, see? I was just going to pause, and here it is. Okay. This stuff isn't that thick. So again, this is not going to be, you know, acid free or anything like that. I mean, I don't know what this is made out of. But I'm going to cut the 2 edges off. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I almost scared myself. I am still going to cut this open, because you guys know I don't like when you do a pop-up card, having paper on top of hinges. It just makes it problematic. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. So, of course, if you're going to make one of these, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. It is kind of cool to be able to say, oh, you just left it like this, right? And just went with it. But that's not what I'm doing today. I might, you know, I didn't think about it. I was probably going to cut a little bit off of these flaps, and I would have done that in one fell swoop. Because these are like 5 like I said, 5 5/8. And I really only need them to be like 5 1/4. Actually, you know what? We're going to leave it. Because the way I'm going to bind this, and maybe I should talk about that in the beginning, is a little bit different from the other books. I'm going to use the book rings I showed you. They're 1-inch book rings. And they kind of stick out, and they kind of stick out a little bit. So once you get our folders in there, the folders might stick out further than you would think, right? So you know what? We're going to leave it. And I'll just play with those measurements when we get there. Okay, so as far as the top and bottom, remember this is like 7 1/4, and I am very happy with that situation. So I'm just going to cut these guys off. And on this side too. Doing any of this. Now here you can measure it. Like if I have put it on here and I want to measure 7 1/4 inches just to make sure I have it. But whatever this ends up being, that's fine with me. Okay. So we just trim that down. Now, like I said, you can just cover this with paper and you're good to go if you want. I just don't like the way it pulls and does all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to cut these guys at those lines, you know, right at that juncture. And then we're going to cover these. Oopsie. See, I did that one a little bit crooked. It's not the biggest deal. Honestly, we're using recycled stuff. Not a big deal. Let's see, I want it a little bit straighter than that. Okay. It's because it wants to move on me. Okay, so let's turn these guys over. Actually, this doesn't even matter, but let's pretend we have this way. And I wanted to bring this piece back. So this piece, just to double up the spine. You don't have to do that, and I'm not even sure why I'm doing this, but why not? So I'm just going to cut this edge off and this edge off. And just to get that started, because I really do need this to be ready for this, I am going to glue those together. And I'm going to glue it this way, because if you can see, this one has that ridge and this one has the ridge, but I don't want ridges on top of each other, so I'm just going to put them side by side. Or, you know, opposite each other. And I'm using a wet glue because that's going to hold up best over time. And I'm going to put quite a bit of glue because we are going to cut holes into this with, like, I guess that's one other thing I should have shown you guys at the beginning. We need to put holes in this, so however you like to do that, if you have one of those screw punch things, or like those things I just tried out again, scrap apparatus, something like that. Ooh, what am I doing? Look at this. Does that work? No, not really. It might, but that's not what that's meant for. Okay, I'm going to clean up and finish making my daughter's noodles, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have this paper pad. Again, I kind of like it to go with the sophisticated, you know, theme, but, you know, this is my case, like your case when you get it home. Oh, this is pretty. I was going to go with this other one, but I hadn't seen this paper. Oh, I really like that one. I was going to go with this one. You know, flipping through the paper pads I had. Where is it? Where is it? It's very pretty, but I like that other one. This guy. Because, you know, it's very soft and it coordinates, I think, with most of my packages. But look at that one. Okay, we're going to go with this. Fine. Twist my arm. Oh, I just realized, did I even get another? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I'm probably going to use both of the papers that are like this, because what we're going to do is cover these guys. I'm not worried about the spine right now. We're going to cover these. And let me see if I have enough to cover. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's just perfect. Okay. So what happens is when I cover these, the part that's going to go inside, you know, doesn't need to be covered like with overage. It just needs to be right on the edge. So something like this, right? I'm going to need this to come in. But this can be right on the edge. So, again, I'm not really measuring them because I don't care, but if you need to know, like I said, it's like 5 5/8 or whatever. Yeah, maybe a little bigger than that. Well, it's about 5 5/8. But either way, I'm eyeballing this, and what I'm going to do is leave a little room here. Again, they don't need any room in the center part. So, you see I'm leaving about 1/2 inch. Even this center part can actually be made less if this paper wasn't going to work for me, because that's going to get covered up with a spine. So 1/2 inch on top, 1/2 inch on the bottom. I think this paper, I said 7 1/4. So I'm going to cut it 8 1/4 deep, and then just in half. This is 12 by 12 paper, so 8 1/4 deep at 6 inches. Okay? So each piece is going to be 6 by 8 1/4, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I have all these things just sitting here. Okay, so from these two, again, one's going to be the front and the back. So what I'm doing is this is going to be this one, and this is going to be this one. Now, if you have a certain direction on your paper, you definitely want to pay attention to that. Of course, this one has like an up and down, but it doesn't really have it left to right. But again, we're going to glue them this way. So, doesn't say if your paper, for some reason, whatever you're creating is too big, you can still kind of fudge it a little bit, because if you're going to put, what's it called? A spine on it, like an extra spine. You can even maybe not have like 1 inch of paper on this side, you know, just depends. But see what I'm doing here? I'm just sticking them down. Now, of course, you can do this with your ATG or dry adhesive, whatever it is that you want to use. I'm using this wet one because that's what I prefer. And last time when we did this live, I did this a little bit differently, but again, I had forgotten about how I used to do them. So again, this is not the thickest thing. If you want to double it up, you have 2 cake boxes or cereal or whatever. I'm just going to go like this. I'm leaving a little bit here because when we bring it over, it's going to, you know, need a little bit. If you cut it too close, it's going to be very bald in that area. And then maybe you'll see that wood there. The wood. What am I talking about? The cardboard kind of thing. Now again, see how I kind of train this? Is totally what I forgot to do that last time. I just started doing gluing and other things, but like on the very edge, especially if you have a thick chipboard, you can just kind of make it really kind of train it over that. I'm kind of doing this here, giving it a really good burnishing on the side, especially if you have a thicker chipboard. And I'm going to do the other one exactly the same way, but of course a little bit opposite. It's going to be like this, and then I'm going to stick this really close to this edge, cut this off, and do the same thing I'm showing you here. And I'm just going to put the glue. You know, you can put on the tabs. I'm just being kind of messy with it. And whatever you want to put down. I probably shouldn't have just done it all at once, but again, the children are here. I just want to get this kind of done. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. And I'll probably place something on this to put pressure, you know, to keep this down. And that's our back one is covered. Now I'm going to cover the front one again, just like this. So that's on this edge, and then this extra stuff overages will go over everything. All right, and I'll be right back. So what did I find to put on this? This book I just picked up actually from English Heritage. I love stuff like this. Miss Crocombe, well, it's not her cookbook. It's the cookbook that actually they patterned off of other people. But anyway, if you've ever watched their channel, it's awesome. And everyone, like young kids, love her because they say she always throws shade because she'll like talk about the poor, or she doesn't really talk about the poor, but the way she says things, because she works for like a family, you know. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I just placed that on top of there. She's funny. Without meaning to be funny, you know. All right, so those are our two covers, front and back. And then for this guy, I'm going to cover the back of it, you know, what's going to be facing out. And I haven't really thought about the size. I don't really care. This is 8.5 inches long. I need it to be at least the 1.5 inch, right? To cover this, plus some, and then I want to punch into it. So let's say... So 1.5 plus another inch, that's 3.5. Let's just make it 4 inches wide. I think I did that last time too. Apparently I like that size. So let's say 4 inches wide. I'm not gonna, well, the other part doesn't really matter. So let's do 4 inches wide. Again, this is 7.25-ish. This is 8.5. I mean, if you want to take a little bit off of this, I was gonna say I'm not gonna worry about it, but 7.25 plus another inch would be 8.25. That's why it wasn't really even worth taking that off. But if we want to leave half an inch at the bottom at the top to fold in later, that's what we're going to do. And then I grabbed this little punch because it's so cute. So this is a heart punch. Again, whenever you punch with these guys, start in the center and then work your way out. That way it doesn't have a perfect start at the beginning and then some weird left off at the end. This way you're kind of splitting the difference. So both edges have something weird, you know, like see how that cut off there. If I had started at one edge and just kept going, either way we're going to tuck it in anyway, but this is generally what you want to do. Like let's say you're making this for a scrapbook or for a card. Just start in the center and work your way out. Okay, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. A little mess, cute little hearts. And this is funny, I started in the center on both of them, but I eyeballed it, so this one has a perfect end, and this one ended this way, and this one has a perfect end. So, you know, what's the difference? I don't know. I probably nailed it on this one right at the center. That's why it's perfect, and the other one a little bit different. Okay. So again, if there's a side that you think is the right side or the wrong side, make sure you're putting this on the wrong side, sorry. Now, you can definitely just punch holes in your folders and put book rings on it and put maybe a front and back page, you know, just to be cute. But, so I'm doing this a little bit differently. It's going to be a little bit more work, actually, which you've already seen. But if you're going to put covers on it, on yours, let's say it's just going to be like an open booklet we've done many times before and I've done for you guys, then it doesn't really matter. But again, I'm going to train this over. Edge. I'm using my nails because that's super professional. Oh, by the way, check that out. It's an old China glaze color. I just found it and it was so like just goopy and gross. Like I did the manicure and then I threw it away because I was like, there's no way this is going to work for me another time because it was weird. Now you see I did put this a little bit crooked. Oh, I do have a little playtime. All right, there we go. Okay. And then, just like we did before, our front and back, again, pay attention so you don't mix them up. We're just going to leave a little space. Now, the reason I cut it, because like I said, it's like a pop-up when you have things stuck together. If I left it stuck together and I just covered the outside, when you go to do this, this paper's not going to like it. So we're going to give ourselves a little gap, kind of eyeballing you know, when you bring this up, how much do you really want there? And I'm gonna put the glue on this kind of towards the edge because I know some of this. And then do you want this part glued down or just a little bit? You know, you do it now because it'll be hard to get under there later. And we're almost done, guys. We just have the hardest part left, which would be to put the holes. It's not gonna be that hard, but it does take a little bit of thought. Okay, so as you can see, I'm leaving a gap. That gap might be even a little bit too big, but this is thicker than this. So you do want to leave yourself some space so that when you go to fold this up later, it's not just going to do the same thing as if we had just left it one piece, you know? I'm trying to push it in just a little bit. Okay, and I'll do the same thing on this side. I'm going to put glue right down here. I'm kind of willy-nilly about it because we're still going to cover this anyway with one other piece of paper, so I don't really care. So I'll do this and place this guy down, okay? I'll be right back to set up. I just want to show you. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. So these guys, we're going to glue this down on the inside. Now I'm going to put a pretty good amount of glue. I don't really care about that part. Oop, look at me putting my fingers in the glue. And, you know, I'll work on one at a time. I don't know why I'm so, I would say necia in Spanish means like stubborn, to work on both of them. But what you want to do when you do this is tuck this in. So see how this is giving a little bit? And that's okay. Again, for that same reason when you have pop-ups, look at, I'm pushing that in. It's like, oh, it wants to come in. So you're already training it to pop in that space. And since it's just this little piece of paper, whatever wants to go in there, I'm happy with, you know? We're basically taking the slack from here and shoving it in here. Okay, I'll do the same thing on this side. Put some glue and just shove, 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 and I'll be right back. So if you want to give it a little test, you can kind of bend it now, which we're still going to put paper on the inside. But see how that area gives it some space to bend without ripping, which is not what we want, right? And then I would probably smooth that out with the bone folder. Alright, again, I cut it willy-nilly, so it also tend to give it some issues there, but okay. And so now I want to cover these pieces, and I am going to do separate pieces of paper. You can do one whole piece and then tuck it in, you know, but it's just not the same. So I'm going to measure this again. I'm thinking if I leave a little bit of 5.5, I mean, that goes all the way to the very edge. 5.5, hold on. Yeah, 5.5 leaves a little bit here. By 7. I'm gonna cut 2 panels that are 5.5 by 7, and I'll be right back. So we have our 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 7. If you want to punch these and make them look fun and do different things, I mean, that's up to you. I'm just making it very simple. And I think that 5.5 by 7 fit really nicely. So I'm gonna put these down first, and then I'm gonna put the middle section over them. If you want to put the middle section first, and then these over that. There's lots of ways to do this. I'm just picking one way. And basically I'm putting the paper all the way to the edge of this. Right? Oh, you know what? Maybe I should punch this too. I don't know if I have enough space to do that. Because it does take up quite a bit. If I had punched it, it'd be like in here. If I was going to punch it on the inside too, to look cute, I would have made this wider. I think I only made this 2.5 inches, which gives me like a 1/2 inch overlap over past the 1 inch, 1.5 that's in the middle here. But maybe if we did 3 inches, then punched it. So cute. We're almost done, guys. Again, I'm doing it this way. If you want to put the other piece, you want to put this piece down first and then put those pieces over it. However you want to do this, it's your book. So hopefully you guys think this is fun. I usually don't really do a lot of upcycling, but it was just funny. I was making the cake and I'm like, the cake box in my hand felt like very much the size of a traveler's notebook, you know? So I was like, oh, maybe. Now I could definitely score this and do stuff like that right now, but what I think, well, I guess I'll just run it through here just to get it trained. I mean, I could measure this and actually do score marks that, you know, 1/2 inch or whatever, but I'm just getting it kind of ready. And we're gonna glue this baby in. Quite a bit of glue, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna punch holes on that, so I don't want it to come apart where the holes are. Again, this is just how I did it. I usually don't even do it this way, so I don't know why I got a wild hair to do it this way this time around. I'm like, yes, this time we're going to put the binding that keeps it nice on the outside. Why? I don't know. Oopsie. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just trying to get this pushed in here to give it some slack, so that when we do use it, like right now where that one came up, it won't do it so much. I'm still allowing that to go in there. And I'll just be massaging it as I do this. Again, for that same reason, when you make a pop-up and it acts funny, this is why. Okay, I'll let this set up for just a little bit because we're going to come in and punch holes, and then we'll put our book rings, and that's going to make it so that we can put our folders in, and I'm going to make holes in my folders. So let me let this set up for just a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I brought these back. I'm going to sit down. I've been standing up this whole time, and it's time to sit. Okay, I'm using 1-inch book rings if you want to do 1.5 or whatever it is. Basically, you're going to make your holes that far apart. So I'm just going to use 2 of them. You could do 3 if you wanted. I'm just going to try to make it work so that I don't have to bust out my larger crocodile or whatever. One of my friends on here, she's like, Vianney, just use the guides, because I had showed you guys how you can use these guides. And even when I do the TNs, I always just kind of eyeball it. But if you set your guide, then every time you use it, it's going to be that far down, right? Right now, I think I want them to be about 1 inch down. So this doesn't actually tell you anything, but you know, that's nothing. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/8 are marked even. So if I did 1 inch in, let me see how far down that looks and if it looks weird. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Okay. But I do want to make sure these are 1 inch apart. That is going to be important. So, let's see. I don't really care about marking these, but I guess I should. So 1 inch down, I'm just I would like to know roundabouts where I'm going here. So if 1 inch down is like here, and I want these guys to be 1 inch apart, the holes themselves. So like right about there, and like here, and here. That's kind of where I want to punch. And then if we need to punch bigger, what I would do is just take the other sides and punch bigger holes. I'm going to use the little holes for a reason. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Just because I like them to be nice and tight. So again, about 1 inch down. Kind of gives me an idea where we're at. And again, the holes need to be about 1 inch apart. And I'm totally eyeballing this, you guys. It's basically 1/4 inch in. It should be about 1/4 inch in on either side, right? Because this is at 1.5 inches, at least we think it is. So this is already set to 1 inch all the way down. And we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, hey, pretty good measuring there. I do like to go a little bit on the outer side of that. But if I have to come back and make the holes again, I don't mind that. I'll just do it again. Look at that. What I'm trying to say is if I have the bullseye there, I like to go a little bit towards the outside of the loop. I don't know how to explain it. And then basically on our folders, we're going to do about the same kind of thing, like 1 inch in. And like I said, if this doesn't work quite to where I want it, then I will punch it with a larger hole, and then that way there's no guesswork, because this does make it very tight. So let me take these guys, and I'm going in from the outside. Oopsie. Ugh, this is the part where it's like, okay, it's a little crazy. Okay, I pushed that one in, and now I can bring this guy in. And like I said, hopefully, nope, I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I didn't go out far enough. So what I was trying to explain to you is when I do the inch in, you know, inch apart, I try to go on the outside of that inch apart, and I just missed it. So I'm going to do this just again, give myself a little extra, so you can see there, a little bit more towards the outer edge of that. That didn't do anything. There we go. And I'm going to put ribbons and stuff on the outside, so I don't really care what that looks like. Here we go. Okay. Now this is why I wanted to be careful, because I wanted more of this to be on the outside, like this ridge, than on the inside. But again, that's why I let myself have that extra space in here. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm not even gonna try. I'm just, I already know I need to make them a little bit wider set. So I'm just going there and giving myself a little bit more room. On the outer side. I'm gonna pop this in and I'll be right back. Okay, so those are in there waiting for my folders to come in. So we'll put that there. Now, what we need to do is open this up. So what happened is, I believe it was Paula, she sent me one of these and then I made folders for the 3 people whose swap came in late. So then I got another one of hers because she sent me one, plus also there were, you know, the ones I would get for the swapping myself, doing the swap. And this is shorter than these guys. So I'm trying to see how much shorter. What I'm gonna do is eyeball this and put a mark, and then I'll know that's kind of where I want to punch. Where is my pen? No, we can think about this and be like, it's probably 3/4 inch in, but I'm just gonna eyeball that and say like here and here, and then I'm gonna punch them all that way. So what do you think that's about 1/8 of an inch in? Let's go ahead and set our guide so that way they're all kind of similar. Let's say that's like 3/16. Not 3/16. What am I talking about? Yeah, 3/16. Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. A little bit further down. Maybe almost 1/4 inch in. Now, you saw that things that she put in there were a little bit bigger than this because they might get in the way when I go to put this in. You know, when I put these things back in. And it just depends on the folder you got. So this is just a different method, guys. I just wanted to do something crafty today, and I thought, oh, this will be fun. I can finish this up, you know. So, oh, a little perfume bottle. Actually, this will be okay. I'm just going to turn that. So what I'm going to do is basically take this and compare it with everything that I have here, all the other folders, and punch them in the exact same spot. I'll just lay this on top of them, you know, and punch through the same spots. Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry, I didn't clean up between images here, or shots. So look at this, it matches pretty perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is put that one in the front, and then we'll just go from there. So there's that one, and maybe we'll do this one next. So I think this was Jane Phillips. Yeah, so she put some larger items like these big guys, and so what I'm going to do is probably just clip them on afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Just clip them with the clippy on the outside, because I don't, well, maybe some of them will fit in the pocket. I didn't really try, to be honest. Then I'll put this one, and then this one. And that is it for today, you guys. I mean, I'm probably going to, you know, I totally forgot. I wanted to put in a closure and I keep forgetting to do this every time I do one of these things. I wanted to put a little closure embedded here, so it's like ribbon you can tie with, and I totally forgot because I keep forgetting to do that. But now we have these guys, and they're a little bulky here on the outside, so look at that. Perfect. So that's why I said I wanted to give myself a little bit extra this time, because if I did 7 1/4 like I normally do, these might have stuck out, like especially if I pull it. I mean, it's right there, and this was what, 7 and it was bigger. I don't even remember now. I'm sorry, 5 1/4. It's just over 5 1/2, right? So fits perfect. So again, if I want to put my little title on there like I did with the other one, we can do that. What I'm going to do is actually, I think I have a bunch of ribbons here that people, when they send in their swaps, they had stuff like this on it. And maybe I'll just cut them up and tie them in little knots here on the edges, on the outside, just to be cute. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. And some of my lace ribbon too. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope that was fun for y'all. And yeah, just an upcycled cake mix box. Not getting rid of me that fast. I just realized I didn't show you guys. So yeah, so whenever you're ready to use it, you can open it up. And I mean, it opens flat. The whole thing opens flat, you know, whatever it is that you want to look through. Oh, use something beautiful like this. My goodness, Paula, look at that. Love it. You know, we can put our little clip back on, or put on the side, however it is that you want. This is the one I told you I took most of the stuff out. And she had this wrapped around the outside, so I was like, oh, I'll just keep it in here and we can use that on something else. So I just popped it in here. But like I said, some of these were a little bit bigger than what would work with the binding rings, but let me see. Okay, that one still fits. That one's okay. I think these guys, they're right at the edge, so I didn't want to mess them up. So like I said, what I'd probably do with these is maybe clip them to the outside, like here. You know, just use my hidden altered paper clip. And that's another reason why we did the hidden altered, because it doesn't hurt anything, you know. Maybe at the top. Maybe I'll still put them on the top. There's nothing in there to like grab anything or mess things up for you. So like once you've got it on here, like right now I just need to clear those areas. I can, ooh, this is a beautiful die cut. We can just kind of boop, pop that on there. Okay, sticking out a little bit, but that's not bad. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye now.